Hi, I'd like to take a couple moments to reflect on some of my student teaching experiences and hopefully share some advice with future student teachers today. One of the best things I've learned is actually to utilize the prep hours we're given, making sure that we get some work done during that free time we have a little bit. I've actually used that time in the last few weeks to work through some lesson plans, study some scores, and actually do these reflection assignments for our student teaching seminars. Um, it's a really special time that we're given to really prep ourselves and start working through some of the stuff for the week that we otherwise would have to do on our own outside of the school time. And speaking of outside school time, one of the biggest things I've learned is obviously to get lots of sleep. That's kind of the joke is that once you get going, you'll never really sleep again. But you want to make sure that you do get enough hours in, which kind of takes me to my next point actually is taking care of your body. We want to make sure that we get that sleep to remain healthy. It does take a toll on you. It's a blast, but it does take a little bit of a physical toll, the lack of sleep that we get. So you want to make sure you're just getting that time to kind of rejuvenate your body, to start taking care of it. Um, and obviously, you can supplement that with taking a lot of vitamins, drinking lots of water. I'm actually just recovering from a couple weeks of a bad cold, and definitely helping out with those vitamins and just making sure I stay on top of that is a really good way for me personally to keep myself up so I'm not sick during the school day. That gets to be a little bit miserable, and we want to just try to be as proactive as possible about that. Um, as far as in the classroom goes, one of the best things I've been able to do so far is start learning names quickly from the first couple days that I was there. The students very much appreciate that you know them as a person, not just another face. And granted, we do see a lot of students every single day. I actually work with a few different ensembles outside of the school, and I was joking with one of the students that I, at any given point, have about 1,000 names bouncing around my head. But it does it takes a lot for us to get that done, but it makes a huge difference to the students, and it kind of builds a rapport with them and with us, obviously, as we go through, and we can kind of pick them out of that that giant list of names we have bouncing around. To specifically pick them out makes a world of a difference, and it really makes them feel special. It helps build that relationship a little more stronger and helps getting that going for you. One of the ways that this has actually helped me is being able to move around the room. Different days we might be able to sit in different sections, and this is obviously very specific to ensemble classes that we have, music ensemble classes. Um, you might want to just pick up a different instrument. Not that we're the greatest at another instrument. By all means, I know saxophone is a little bit outside of my range right now, but I'm working on it, and the students can see that, and they really appreciate that I'm there next to them. As you start kind of moving around, you get to know them a little bit better. They start not only respecting you, but also kind of filling out who you are exactly and how you fit into their classroom. Obviously, again, we're guests in their classroom, so we want to make sure that we can slip in, not undetected, but slip in without any issues arising like that. And just getting to move around a little bit lets you feel a little bit more like you're part of that environment. One way that's actually helped me is to get to know them, obviously, is to talk to them a little bit before and after class. As a person, normally I'm actually a little bit shy and a little more reserved. I normally don't like pushing out of my comfort zone, and this has definitely been a growing experience for me. Getting to just talk to them one on one is definitely let me know who they are as individuals, start actually getting to know them a little bit better, and helps me kind of, again, build that relationship. It's all about making sure that they know who you are just like you know who they are, and then you can work together in a little more with a little more ease in the classroom. Getting to know them individually has been fun, obviously, and it makes it well worth the the lack of sleep and being sick. It makes it well worth it to get into the classroom and actually work with the students and work with um, essentially your peers when we start looking at it as the musical ensembles, and it definitely sets you to be to have that working relationship with each other. One of the biggest things that took me a while to kind of ease into was just being able to be myself. And that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I would be able to give is just in all of your lessons that you put forth, don't hesitate to joke around, obviously in a professional manner and something that's still effective in the classroom, but You want to make sure that you're still relaxed. You don't appear tense to the students. And I know there's a lot of nervousness that happens naturally as we get onto the podium or in front of the classrooms and we walk around. Um, but just being able to feel relaxed and go in there knowing that we're all there again as peers working together to accomplish a musical goal in the classroom, um, definitely comes across to the students. And I've noticed that in my own, as I get to be a little more calm and joke with them, they kind of accept me a little more with a little more ease, and it seems to be more of a great working relationship there. Um, as you go into the classroom, you might want to start thinking about bringing snacks. This kind of actually goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about taking care of your body. I tend to get a little bit hungry. There's been a few times where I've missed lunch just due to work and stuff that I've had to accomplish during that time. And who knows, I mean, obviously you might give a lesson, you might just kind of go over some homework with the student, and you want to definitely take that time to make sure that you're still remaining healthy, getting all the meals, getting all the nutrients, anything you might actually need there. I've actually brought little baggies of almonds. I take lots of water, obviously. Maybe some fruit juice, something just to kind of keep you going through the day. It does tend to get a little bit of a long day, so you want to just make sure you can get through it okay with enough energy, obviously. One of the last pieces of advice I have is, as I look at my little list here, is just in regards to classroom management and how you plan your lessons. My personal philosophy over the last few years of getting to intern and getting more experience with students is to anticipate the worst, but not to expect it. I've actually been incredibly surprised at how well students respond and how proactive they are in taking kind of a hold in their own education. I know as you kind of go into normal classroom settings, there is a little bit of a dynamic between the teacher and students as being kind of a master versus a novice, someone who's just completely beginning and new to it. And we do kind of take a little bit of a hierarchy attitude towards that. And I've actually been incredibly surprised at how well prepared many of the students are. And it's not just at this placement that I've actually been put this year, but over all the course of all of the internships that I've been in, I've actually been very surprised at how much students know and how quickly they learn. Um, Thinking about it in terms of classroom management, I continue to pick up many more strategies of as far as how to keep the class engaged, and I was really happily surprised to see students kind of shushing each other and keeping each other, keeping the talk obviously to a little bit of a minimum there. There's been students who have stood up and yelled, "Hey, Mr. Garcia is talking, stay quiet," kind of things like that. And while that might seem a little disruptive, it was actually kind of nice to know that the classroom was on my side. And while I did anticipate a little bit of noise, it was nice to have them manage themselves and actually stay engaged through that. Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of other things that I'll probably think of as soon as I stop recording, maybe in the next day or two as well. But at least that's a little bit of advice, and I'm trying to share a little bit of my experience and hoping that when I look back on this, I can continue to learn a little bit more about how I've started teaching, what I've learned in my time in my placements, and hopefully help out a couple future teachers as well. So have a great day.